Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for July 10th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the podcast. Let's get right into it. And it seems as though the Phillies took all their frustrations from the first two games in San Francisco out on the Giants yesterday. 13-0 offensive explosion. Every starter had an RBI. Every starter except for Trey had a hit. Kyle Schwarber hit a home run. Bryce Harper had himself a career day, 4 for 6, 3 doubles, a homer, 4 extra base hits. He was hitting to the opposite field. Seemed as though his timing was back. They were hitting the ball hard. So maybe, as Charlie used to say, it's hitting season. And shame All-Star breaks in 3 games, but maybe they can come out of the break and just carry that momentum. But they pounded out 17 hits. Kyle Schwarber might have a outside shot at 30 homers before the All-Star break. Jesus Luzardo was outstanding. 7 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 7. Good salvage game, I guess you could call it, for the Phils, who are off today. And then it's a weekend series against San Diego before going to the All-Star break. But at least they're done with the house of horrors that is Oracle Park. He just never played well. I think it was overall, all time, I saw San Francisco is like the second worst record the team has against anybody in the Major League Baseball or something like that. It's just, I tell you all the time, I hate West Coast baseball. I'm glad that it's over. Sixers kick off the Vegas Summer League tonight. They will not be with VJ Edgecombe, who the thumb contusion is now a thumb sprain. And I should have never opened my mouth about being excited about being back on board. Lucy, as she always does, took that football from me. But they do get kicked off. Doesn't seem to be anything serious. He's still working out and doing side things. I would imagine it's probably more a precautionary thing. But we'll see. Hopefully he does get some run over here in Vegas now. And then the NBA Cup groups were announced. Sixers are in East Group B with the Celtics, Pistons, Magic, and Brooklyn Nets. Could be a very winnable group depending on Joe's health and how things progress. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. The Union were rained, lightninged out last night. The storms made it impossible to play. So that game for the U.S. Open Cup has been rescheduled for August 13th. They are back in action on Saturday against the New York Red Bulls in a regular season MLS game, but no Union game for the U.S. Open Cup, postponed to August 13th. All right, let's go to yesterday's trivia question. We talked about the 1996 All-Star Game at the Vet, and I asked you, who was the MVP? That would be Norristown and hometown hero at the time. He wasn't playing for the Mets yet, so he did get a nice little bit of an ovation. But Mike Piazza of the Dodgers was the 96 All-Star Game MVP. Hall of Famer, Norristown legend. Mike Piazza was the MVP of the 96 All-Star Game. This day in Philly sports history is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, a growing community of diehard fans turning their sports passion into something special. Whether you're looking for unique shows, want to launch your own podcast but don't have the time, or need production services, the ClashingConferences.com has everything you need. Explore fan-driven content, become a member, or tap into their media services to level up your brand. That's ClashingConferences.com, where fans' voices get heard. All right, it is Thursday. That means it's time for Throwback Thursday, and Throwback Thursday is brought to you by Beach Caddy. Go to beachcaddy.app. Use the promo code Jimbo to take 15% off of your move-in, move-out service, your beach cart rental. They take the stress out of your Jersey Shore vacations. Go to beachcaddy.app, use that promo code Jimbo for 15% off, and let them do the heavy lifting because vacation should start when you get there. All right, for today's Throwback Thursday, going to go back to 1968, and this happened this week, July 9th, 1968. The Sixers traded Wilt Chamberlain to the Lakers for Jerry Chambers, Archie Clark, and Darrell Imhoff. And that trade sent both franchises into two completely opposite directions. For the Lakers, with Wilt Chamberlain, they made 4 finals appearances in 5 years, including winning the championship in 71-72. And it sort of led to the building of the Showtime Lakers. After Wilt retired, they went and got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the rest, as they say, is history. For the Sixers, it was a downward trajectory in the opposite direction, culminating with a 9-73 season in 1972-73, the second worst record or team record-wise of all time. For my money, it was probably the worst team ever assembled. But you kind of look at it and wonder, why did the Sixers trade Wilt Chamberlain? And I know I have an uncle who was a huge Sixers fan, huge Wilt Chamberlain fan. And after, on this day in 1968, completely flipped courses, followed Wilt out to LA, became a Lakers fan, has been a Lakers fan since then. But really, Wilt had outgrown Philadelphia at that point. When the Warriors moved, he had played out in California, so he already had some property out there. He really liked the laid back lifestyle. Had ambitions of getting into different business ventures as well as acting after he retired. But then there were some things within the Sixers organization. Apparently, he was promised verbally part ownership when he retired by Ike Richman, one of the 2 owners of the Sixers. Unfortunately, Ike passed away, and his partner, Irv Kozlov, did not honor it. Wilt also wanted more say in the day-to-day activities, as far as essentially wanted to get into coaching, also wanted to have some personnel input with players and who they acquired and things like that. Couple that with the fact he wanted to be a player coach like Bill Russell was in Boston. The Sixers brought in Dr. Jack Ramsey, another Philly legend, but they disagreed on styles. Jack Ramsey wanted to run a fast break, kind of run and gun type offense, where Wilt obviously was one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant player in the history of the NBA. He, of course, wanted the offense to run through him. And then go back to 1967-68, the season after they won the championship. They got bounced from the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, or the East Division Finals, after blowing a 3-1 lead. And he felt as though he was the one who caught the blame, and he's kind of scapegoated into doing that. And just the more laid back atmosphere and more liberal way of thinking in California was really what Wilt wanted. And they honored the trade. And like I said, it was something that the Sixers did not recover from until they brought in Dr. J and started to get those guys in. But could it have worked for Wilt and the Sixers? I would imagine it would have. There would have been some tense moments. There was certainly a lot of tension in the locker room. They could have won another championship. Maybe it delays what the Lakers did, but ultimately, I think this would have come to a head one way or the other if Wilt had stayed. But it would have been great to see him kind of be a mentor for Billy Cunningham, who was kind of coming up during this time as well. But instead, Wilt did go to the Lakers, won a championship, and ultimately really changed the course. This trade changed the course of 2 NBA franchises, because who knows, maybe if they could have all made it work out, gave Wilt a little bit of what he wanted, maybe it's the Sixers making 5 finals appearances or 4 final appearances in 5 years, but you never know. But that is today's Throwback Thursday, July 9th, 1968. Sixers trade Wilt Chamberlain to the Lakers for Jerry Chambers, Archie Clark, and Daryl Emhoff. And it just was complete polar opposites of the way the two teams went. But let me know your thoughts on Wilt. I know a lot of people out there will, from a certain age group, will say Wilt is the GOAT. You have others from my age group who say it's Jordan or maybe even Kobe. And then you have people out there. So, where does Wilt stack in the hierarchy of all-time greats in the NBA? To me, I kind of put him more in a almost mythical sort of category based on the numbers and what he was doing, almost like a Babe Ruth type. But hit me up on the Discord channel, which is the first link in the description, or the Back to the Future voice and text line 267 495 8531. And let me know your thoughts on Wilt. July 10th, that we're going to have a big day for sluggers in Phillies history. So we got a couple quick hits here. First, we're going to go all the way back to 1911. And in this day in 1911, Sherry Magee was 1 for 2 in the Phillies' 4-2 win over the Cardinals. The slugging, however, was not so much with his bat, but with his fist. Sherry Magee was arguing balls and strikes with the umpire, did not like what the umpire had to say, so he punched him and knocked him out. Sherry, yes, he did punch the umpire. And I know the other night in San Francisco, there was a lot of Phillies who it looked like would have loved to have punched that umpire. But he knocked him out and earned himself a 36-game suspension and a fine of $200. He did finally successfully appeal it. But on this day in 1911, Sherry Magee knocks out home plate umpire. I think his name was Bill Finneran. So can't be doing that, kids. Cannot punch the umpire. Fast forward to 1936. And on this day in 1936, the Phillies were 9-6 winners over the Pirates. In 10 innings, Chuck Klein tied a Major League Baseball record with 4 home runs, including the go-ahead, which turned out to be the game-winning homer in the top of the 10th. At the time, Chuck became the oldest player to hit 4 home runs in a game at 31 years old. That record actually stood until this past April. And Chuck almost hit a 5th home run. He fouled out to deep right field on an amazing catch, but just was feeling it that day. So this day, 1936, Chuck Klein, 4 home runs in a game. Then we go all the way all the way up, I should say, to 1979. Phillies beat the Pirates 6-5 with a dramatic 5-run 9th inning. Del Unser hit a 3-run pinch hit walk-off homer to give the Phils the win. It was his third straight appearance with a pinch hit home run, which tied a Major League Baseball record. Earlier in that game, Mike Schmidt went deep with a solo shot and tied Dick Allen's team record with a homer in 5 consecutive games. That record was later tied back in 2023 by Trey Turner, believe it or not. As much as he struggled that season, he did go 5 straight games with a home run. And then finally, in 2006, Ryan Howard won the 2006 Home Run Derby, edging out David Wright by 1, essentially walked off the Home Run Derby out at PNC Park. It was the second straight year a Philly had won the Home Run Derby, Bobby Abreu winning it the year before. So July 10th was a good day for Philly sluggers. You got Sherry Magee slugging the umpire, Chuck Klein slugging 4 home runs, Del Unser, 3rd straight game with a pinch hit home run, Mike Schmidt, 5th straight game with a home run, and of course, Ryan Howard hitting balls out into the Allegheny River, winning the 2006 Home Run Derby. Now, sticking with the Home Run Derby theme, that does lead to today's trivia question. Other than Ryan Howard, which Phillies have competed in the Home Run Derby? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, Discord channel, first link in the description, social media, whatever you can. Get that answer to me, but which Phillies have competed in the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby other than Ryan Howard, who won it on this day in 2006? And if you're paying close attention, I already gave you one. He also won it. Then finally today, our greatest individual season in Philly sports history. Yesterday, we had a doozy in the Flyers region. Bobby Clark slightly edging out the number 11 seed Bernie Parent from 74-75 with 51% of the vote. And this was a tough one because they were both key pieces to those Stanley Cup teams. But I think if you're doing it based on individual seasons, Bobby Clark's season was probably slightly better, but Bernie Parent was probably a more important piece to that Stanley Cup winning team. Today, we go to the Sixers region. Final second round matchup for the Sixers. Battle of MVP seasons. And first, we have the number 3 seed, the aforementioned Wilt Chamberlain from 1965-66. This was his first full year with the Sixers. He was an MVP, All-Star, All-NBA first team, averaged 33.5 points per game, 24.6 rebounds per game, both of which led the league with 47 minutes played. That was the thing about Wilt. He just never came out of games. All the dude did was play. Led the league with 54% field goal percentage. Unfortunately, Sixers, like they tended to do a lot back then, lost to the Celtics in the East Division Finals. And then Dr. J, the 6th seed, from 1980-1981. That was his MVP season. He was an all-star, all-NBA first team, 24.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, almost 4.5 assists, and 2 steals per game. Played in all 82 games. He was an Iron Man that year, playing 35 minutes per game as well. Unfortunately for the Sixers, they seem poised to go back to the NBA Finals. Unfortunately, they blew a 3-1 lead against the Celtics. Now it's your turn. Whose season was better? Wilt Chamberlain in 1965-66, Dr. J in 1980-81. Get your votes in any way you can. Discord channel, Back to the Future voice and text line, social media, anything works, but get that vote in. The number 3 seed Wilt from 65-66, the number 6 seed Dr. J from 80-81. Whose season was better? Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, all that other good stuff. Tell your friends. Hit me up on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram at Philly Jimbo. The YouTube channel is at Jimbo_Mont. Just subscribe, leave a comment, say hello, all of that good stuff. Be sure to check out the highlights on my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn. And then don't forget about Philly Goat. If you notice, I'm wearing my Mr. Sandman's Gym shirt today. You can get this and many other shirts like it at phillygoat.com. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. And then get your vote in for the greatest individual season, Wilt in 65-66 or Dr. J in 80-81. Whose season was better? On this day in 2006, Ryan Howard wins the home run derby. Del Unser hits a pinch hit home run in 3 straight games. Mike Schmidt hit one in 5 straight games on this day in 79. In 1936, Chuck Klein, 4 home runs in 1 game. And in 1911, Sherry Magee knocks the umpire out. Phils are off. Much needed day off after the house of horrors that was San Francisco will gear up for their weekend series against the Padres tomorrow. Keep you posted on VJ Edgecomb's thumb. And of course, tomorrow is Friday. And like we do every Friday, we spend Fridays with AI. So stay tuned for that. Tell your friends, have some fun, and hit the subscribe button. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for July 10th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Thursday. Be safe out there. It seems like it's going to be another stormy day. But until next time, I'll see you when I see you.